Hi, everybody. My name is Emily. My first memory of technology was playing Oregon Trail on a super old computer at my parents' house. And now I'm teaching English in the refugee education program in Tucson. So I have a lot to say about technology and teaching. We were fully in person before the pandemic, and now we're fully online. We're teaching as many hours as we used to, more students than we used to. And my learning management system is basically WhatsApp. So before the pandemic, take pronunciation. Before the pandemic, in class, and some background, my students are mostly emergent readers. In this case, I'm talking about the emergent readers. They're learning to read and write for the first time in a language that they don't speak. And they're also emerging phone users. Emerging digital literacy is most most of my students. There are a lot of older ones, but they're between 18 and 70 or so. We're in the community college here in Tucson. So some of them don't know how to answer the phone yet, and their family helps them sometimes. And others, I'm working on getting them to use the tools in WhatsApp because they're almost there. Before the pandemic, pronunciation was one of the benefits that I saw with technology. So I wanted them to record their voice. Just say open a camera. Everybody has the camera app on their phone, and turn on the video. Maybe they would even record their face as well, which I think helps with learning. I wanted them to record their voices and listen back as a learning strategy. And, instant feedback. Hearing yourself talk, I believe, helps with language learning. But my students didn't believe that. So my students didn't buy into it. I had not figured out how to explain to them how it was going to help them learn English. So I'm sure they would have gotten it. I haven't figured out how to do it, but now they are forced to do it. What I mean by that, since the pandemic and since being on WhatsApp, one of the options, when I send a question out to everybody in the group chat, they can either text, or one of the options is that they can respond with a voice text. And the reason I think that they are listening to themselves talk and not just me and hopefully their classmates, is that they will send a message and then a couple seconds later it gets deleted. And then they'll send another message and a couple seconds later it gets deleted. And then they'll send one and then maybe that one is good enough. So, it happens so often that I've learned to wait a minute or so after they send a voice text before replying to it, because they might not be finished. And so I'm seeing in real time as they are listening to their voice, deciding that was good enough, or I don't like it, it's not perfect, I'm gonna send it again. And they're getting that instant feedback. So I'm thrilled with that. Really, not all of my students are doing it, but for the ones who are, some of them I know are learning it because at the beginning they didn't send as many voice texts, or they would cut their voice off at the beginning or the end of the recording, and now they're getting their entire whatever they want to say in. I think their family and friends are helping them learn how to use it better. So all of this wouldn't have happened if they hadn't been forced very dramatically into using online learning. But for me, it's really difficult to separate learning the language from learning the technology, since it really is also my job to teach the technology. But I think that as much of a challenge as it is, like the challenge is that you make it too difficult for the people in the class, or some of the people in the class, that they're overwhelmed by it, or that they don't see the benefit of it and don't see how it connects to language learning. But the benefits have made this situation where we're completely online with the students more manageable. Yeah, and I hope that they'll still practice listening to their voices after this. I hope that they'll take this learning strategy with them for as long as they're learning English. Thank you.